Hey you guys, let's talk about LipSense troubleshooting. So if you've had any issues with your LipSense, I'm going to be going over some of the things that I've heard. Troubleshooting is one of my favorites to do with my customers because when I first started out with LipSense, I experienced a lot of different issues, and I learned through the whole process, and I love sharing that with you guys because I know how frustrating it can be, because I remember using LipSense for the first time and I was like, everyone seems to love this. How come it works for them and it doesn't work for me? And so I'm going to go through a myriad of things. I've got 3 different notes that I've been taking of what I want to discuss during this video. But just so you know, some of you might not experience any issues. Some of you might experience some of these. Some of you might experience nothing, or start off experiencing some issues and then nothing later. So let me know if there's something that I don't cover that you're having an issue with. Just write it in the comment section, because I would love to address that, because I know that I won't hit every single thing. But a lot of issues can be solved with just minor tweaks, or what I've found is not following a couple specific things when you're doing your application process of your LipSense. LipSense is different. It's not like lipsticks that you get like at any other store. You don't just put it on and then reapply it all throughout the day anytime you need to. It's not a stain. And so it's something that's very, very unique to the marketplace. So it's very, very unique. There actually isn't anything else like it out on the market right now. So that's why when a lot of people experience issues, it's just learning how to get it right. And I've been doing this for 5 years, and I think I've encountered just about every single issue that someone's had, and I want to just discuss those here with you guys. And I was going to say real quick, but I'm not quite sure if it will be real quick. Okay, let's start off with dryness or flaking. If you feel like you are using LipSense and you feel like it's drying your lips, or you feel like there's flaking throughout the day, there's a couple things to keep in mind. One is stay hydrated. This is something that's just overall health, and LipSense is here to help with your overall lip health. But something that a lot of us miss is the basics of keeping your skin and your body hydrated. If you are dehydrated, and normally you won't even know if you're dehydrated, once you start feeling like you're thirsty, that's past dehydration. So staying hydrated, making sure you're drinking enough water. If you aren't, and you are dehydrated, or you're not drinking enough water throughout the day, it actually shows up in your skin. So think about when you know that someone has dry skin, and I have dry skin, we tend to exfoliate more often. You get the dry flakes of skin on your lips or your skin. So dehydration is going to show up in your skin. And if you apply LipSense to dry and dehydrated lips, you can expect that it's going to kind of exfoliate. Your LipSense is bonded to some dry skin, and when that dry skin flakes off, your LipSense is going to go with it, which can lead to any unevenness in your lips, or making your lips feel like they're even more dry. On cue, I'm like, I need to take a drink of water. Okay. So make sure that you're hydrated. The next thing is, like, your exfoliation period may differ from somebody else. So everyone's pH balances are different. Everyone's skin is different. And your exfoliation process may last a short amount of time or a longer period of time. I was addicted to wax products before I used LipSense. I actually didn't use makeup, but I used a lot of chapsticks. Oh, chapsticks were my life, you guys. Chapsticks are really not great for you. If you're using chapsticks, this is the time to kick that to the curb. Chapsticks contain wax, obviously, and wax will hold and lock in moisture. but it doesn't allow your lips to breathe. It doesn't allow your lips to exfoliate like it's supposed to. And so what you end up doing, especially if you are a chapstick addict, is over however long you're using chapstick, you're actually sealing in dead layers of skin. Your lips need to exfoliate a lot more often than even the skin on your face. It's very delicate, thin skin, and it exfoliates often. If you inhibit or prohibit? That sounds like a weird word. Prohibit your exfoliation. As soon as you start using LipSense, you're going to feel a lot more of that exfoliation is going to start happening, and so your LipSense won't stay as long because of it. So watch for your exfoliation process. Your lips might start exfoliating a little bit more often, and it's just releasing some of that dead skin that has been built up because of the wax products. If you need a replacement for your wax products, I would recommend using Glossy Gloss or our lip balm. Anytime that you're wanting to grab a chapstick, grab for that instead. It's going to let your lips breathe. It's going to hydrate your lips. It's going to plump up your lips because of the skin cells will be able to get the hydration it needs. It's got vitamin E and shea butter in it. And so it's going to really, really hydrate your lips. So anytime that you normally would run for a chapstick, grab your gloss instead. A lot of people too will use chapstick maybe at night or during the day, and I'm going to touch on this a little bit later, and then go to apply LipSense. And if you're applying your LipSense color on top of the wax of the chapstick, you can assume that it's not going to bond to your lips properly. And so that might be something else that's prohibiting your LipSense to stay or get the wear that you want. If you also experience any dryness in your lips, like I said, dehydration, it could be that your lips need to go through exfoliation, your lip health. You will have really great lip health after you go through LipSense. But what you might be feeling in terms of dryness is that SD alcohol 40, which is a cosmetic grade alcohol that's in your LipSense tube. It's to keep your liquid tube clean and sterile. It gives it that really, really long shelf life. If you can imagine, or as you imagine, every time you put on your lip color and then you're putting it back into the tube, then you're taking it out and you're putting it back on and then you're putting it in the tube. It keeps this all sterile, and it kills any germs or bacteria on your lips. Now, if your lips have any micro tears in it, if they're dry, when you put on alcohol, like a cosmetic grade alcohol on that, it's going to evaporate. And when it evaporates, it's going to feel like your lips are getting drier. Just remember to gloss as often as you need to throughout the day. Because I've been using LipSense for so long, my lips are really, really healthy and moisturized. I even use a lip mask at night, a watermelon lip mask, which is thebomb.com. But I only need to gloss once to seal in my lip color, and I don't need to reapply any gloss because my lips are really hydrated and I try to drink a gallon of water every day. So just watch for that. Take note of that. If you're feeling or experiencing any dryness, kick up your gloss, hydrate, and make sure you're using the remover. One of the reasons that a lot of people feel dryness in their lips is because they've opted for a makeup remover that strips your lips. It's going to strip off makeup instead of break down makeup. The Oops remover is made to go with your lip color, and I did a video on how to remove LipSense, so go watch that. It's really short, and you can just type in removing LipSense in the search bar and it should come up. But make sure you're using the Oops remover to take off your LipSense. Some people who are scrubbing their lips to try to remove LipSense, or using makeup removers that aren't meant to work with LipSense, is going to just strip it off, and that's going to be really harsh on your lips. This has tons of vitamins in it, so while it's breaking down your lip product, it's also going to be enhancing your lips with lots of different vitamins and nutrients. So make sure that you're not using any other remover except for LipSense, or we do have a cleansing and melt away balm that you can also use that's made to go with LipSense to break down that bond safely and restore vitamins and moisture to your lips. So a lot of people might experience dryness because of that. That was something that I experienced, and my lips actually started bleeding. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, this hurts to apply. My LipSense, it stings even more than it was before, and that's because I was trying to remove LipSense. I didn't actually have a remover. I was just trying to remove LipSense with whatever I could find, and it was really, really damaging my lips instead of doing it in the amazing way that, like I said, LipSense is a lip treatment. This is part of the lip treatment, and that's removing it the best way to also hydrate your lips. Okay, if you're noticing that your LipSense is getting like crumbly, and I've experienced this before because I have LipSense colors that I've had for years, and I can still actually wear them. So this is one of them. I'm actually wearing Dawn Rising right now, and I've had this one for probably 3 years. And so one of the common mistakes that you can make if you are experiencing any crumbleness on your lips, is that you aren't shaking your LipSense long enough or like sufficiently. So I like to just make sure that I kind of sit here like this and shake it a little bit. Kind of just tap it on my hand, and then I'll make sure I shake it up and down so that the tube is mixing, or the ball in here is mixing it up. Because as you, like I said, I've had this one for 3 years. As I let it just sit down, all the particles, the heavier particles, are obviously going to settle at the bottom, and the lighter particles are going to be at the top. If I don't mix it well enough, what you do is when you put your LipSense on, you're going to have those thicker particles maybe that are left over. They don't adhere as well because it doesn't have that even mixture of the LipSense product when you're putting it on. So one of the biggest tips for crumbly LipSense is to make sure that you're just shaking it really, really good before you put it on. The second thing is make sure your lips are clean and dry when you put on your LipSense color. Now, if you're like me, like I just said, I put on a watermelon mask every night before I go to bed. And so my watermelon lip mask is going to be on my lips when I wake up. If I were to put on LipSense right away without like cleaning my lips, then it's going to adhere to my watermelon mask, or it's going to adhere to your lip balm, or it's going to adhere to your glossy gloss. If you take my advice and put on glossy gloss before bed, your your LipSense is going to bond to whatever it touches. If it bonds to that watermelon lip mask or whatever it is that's on your lips, that is not going to last you all day. It might feel a little thick and crumbly because there's an extra barrier between your LipSense and your lips. Another thing is, if you eat food first, so maybe you're gonna eat breakfast and then you're gonna go put on your LipSense color. Well, there might be leftover like grease or food particles on your lips. If you're somebody who puts on a full face of makeup before you put on your LipSense, or even your moisturizer, that's why it really doesn't matter at any time of the day when you're applying your LipSense. You need to just make sure it's clean and dry. So I have these little washcloths everywhere. And so I just even have it sitting here where I do my makeup. So you just want to make sure that you have it a little bit wet, wipe your lips, and then dry them completely before you apply LipSense, so LipSense can adhere to your actual bare lips. Okay, that's super important. If you're getting any crumbly LipSense too, another thing that you want to make sure that you're doing is thin layers. So when you are applying your LipSense, and this is like when we say do thin layers, we mean thin layers. Okay, so if I were just to take out LipSense from the tube, and remember, LipSense is different. You might be used to doing this with your glosses or your lip stains because you want to get as much color on. You can see there's like that glob of product right there. You always want to wipe it off till it's basically bare. When you do your first layer of LipSense, and I just want to make sure it's all the way off. When you do your first layer of LipSense, so here's Dawn Rising, right, with 3 layers. But let me just show you what one layer is going to look like when I've wiped off a lot of that color, okay? See how that color is going to look, the very first layer? You want to make sure they're very thin layers, and as you're building up that color, as you're putting on your layers, it's going to build up the color as well. So a lot of people aren't used to that, and they might put on way too much product, and then it's not able to adhere to your lips properly either that way. Remove and apply one layer. Thin layers, okay. If you find that your lip color is coming off on your gloss, and this is something that I am not the best at because I'm always in a hurry. This is water gloss, but you can see like there's just a tiny tint of pink on my gloss applicator. So that just means that I'm not waiting long enough for my lip color to dry before I'm glossing it. So if you're having issues with your LipSense color, just make sure that you're waiting in between applications so that it has time to dry before you go in with your second application and your third application. Sometimes I like to just sit here like this, and then you can even feel it to see if it's tacky. Just give it the proper amount of time to dry. And then even that last layer, if you're not waiting long enough for that last layer to dry before you go in with your gloss, you're gonna see a little bit of that color transfer. If your gloss applicator is nice and clean and clear, that means that you've been waiting long enough to put your gloss on, because it should always be clean and clear, your gloss applicator. And then tingling. Okay, when I first used LipSense, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like, there's like a tingle to it. Some people can feel like their lips are stinging. Some people might feel a tingle, and some people might not feel anything. Again, that's that SD alcohol 40, and that's when it touches your lips, it immediately evaporates. If you have micro tears in your lips, if you have dry lips, you're gonna feel that sting or that tingle even more as it's cleaning your lips and it's evaporating. So I like to use the analogy like, if you were to, let's say like, I don't know why this just came to my head, but if you were like in my old neighborhood when I was little, we had like this hill down into our neighborhood, and I'm just thinking rollerblading on the road. If you were to fall and get like a big scratch on your arm, like you would clean it off, right? With water, and then we used to put, back in my day, we used to put some alcohol on it to clean out the cut. Guess what? That hurts, and it would sting because it's an open wound, it's a cut. If I were to put alcohol anywhere else on my arm that didn't have cuts, you wouldn't feel a thing. That's the exact same experience that people feel when they're using LipSense, and they either feel a sting, and that means they've got bigger like cuts on their lips or micro tears. They might feel a tingle if it's just little, or they might not feel anything at all if their lips are pretty good health-wise. Some people are scared because they're like, oh, I'm allergic to this stuff. So, you can be allergic to anything, right? But if you do feel a tingle or a sting on your first couple tries, it's just that SD alcohol 40 in the product. And make sure you just put your gloss on, and that will help to make that subside. I probably experienced a little bit of tingling my first week of using LipSense, and then it started to go away as my lips got healthier and started to heal, because I was a chapstick addict, remember? Okay, let's see. Okay, one other thing that I have experienced people saying with their LipSense color is that, it doesn't last as long as they want it to. So LipSense is supposed to last anywhere between 4 and 18 hours. That's the window of time it's supposed to last. If it can last 4 hours, that's amazing, right? Like any other lip color. Let's see, do I have any other lip colors here? I used to have like a tester lip color, just to like show how cool LipSense is. But that color, before I had to reapply it, would last me moments before I touched my face, or I took a drink of my water because I'm trying to drink a gallon of water, or like I kissed my little boy. Like it would come off and then I'd have to reapply it. 4 hours of wear with LipSense is still amazing. And the longer you use it, usually the longer your LipSense will last. I remember for me, when I started using LipSense, it didn't last for me for very long. I felt like it was just a short amount of time. Maybe I hit the 2, 3, 4 hour mark. It just came with the learning of how to apply it right, and my exfoliation phase, kind of like I was shedding off all that dead layer of skin. But another thing that could be a problem besides application is just glossing. So you want to make sure that before you eat, just carry your gloss around. You can apply that gloss over your LipSense, and that's just going to create another barrier to protect your LipSense. So LipSense obviously is magical, but you want to take care of it as well. I have gotten to the point where I don't necessarily need to reapply my gloss very often, and I probably just use it once during the day, maybe twice. I don't even think I reapply my gloss. I think I usually just to seal in my lip color, and then it just lasts me all day. I don't have to worry about anything else like that happening. But until you get to that point, then make sure that you're bringing your gloss to just like re-gloss before you eat. Grease breaks down your LipSense color, and we're going to talk about our waterline because your saliva is also going to break down your LipSense color. So it's going to happen slowly, but if you can gloss, it's going to protect your LipSense and make it so that you can wear it. It'll wear longer. Your waterline. So you have a waterline here on your eyes. It's where the water touches your skin. So that point where it goes from wet to here's dry, my eyeball's wet, it's that barrier between the two. It's called your waterline. You actually have a waterline on your lips too. So if you go like this part is wet, this part of my lips is dry, right? So where those two meet, obviously there's going to be some breaking down of your LipSense product. The cool thing about LipSense is you actually can apply it on your waterline. So what I do is if I want to, and I usually do it with my darker colors, like if I'm wearing a bright red, or like mulled wine, some deep dark color, I'm gonna want to wipe my waterline right here so it's dry. And then you can apply your lip color to your waterline. You just wanna make sure that it's dry. And then I like to seal it in with gloss before I like let my lip go back. If you find that your waterline is the only part that is broken down and you still have color here, what I would recommend doing is just making sure, again, your lips are clean and dry all the way. And I leave my lips parted like this. Just make sure that part right here is just dry when you put on your LipSense color, and it's dry all the way. The other thing is that if you want to reapply your lip color to your waterline, you can totally do that too, and you don't have to take your LipSense all the way off. So what I would do is just grab like a little cloth and then light it and right here, and then just like kind of scrub off some of that color, and then you can just reapply that color right to where you want it. So you can just do it right to your waterline. And then you might want to do once all over your lip color again, just so that these two colors match, and then seal it in with gloss and you're good. So if you want to touch it up, your waterline, you totally can as well. I wanted to like make sure I went over everything. Stay hydrated. When you're applying your LipSense, a lot of people will do it like a lip stick, like a lipstick. So they will go like this, back and forth on their lips like this to put the color on, and you don't want to do that. A good analogy is like if you were to write on a whiteboard with a marker and you write your name one way and then you go back the opposite way to write again over it, it like picks the color back up from the marker. That's the same with LipSense. So if I'm going in one direction, I try to stay just the same direction, let that dry. And because if I were to go here and then immediately right back, it might pick up that color and cause some splotchiness. Let it dry between layers, cut out the wax products. So if you need any other products like lip balms, I have a lip scrub that I can send. But you'll want to ditch your chapstick. And once you ditch your chapstick addiction, you guys, I promise you, I was that type of person who needed one by my bed, one in my gym bag, one in my bathroom, one in my car, because when I needed chapstick, I needed it right away. So this is going to help kick that addiction so that your lips feel hydrated, even if you're not wearing LipSense, because you don't rely on that wax product to just hold it in. Plus, it's creating that unhealthy barrier, and it's trapping in a lot of dead layers of skin that need to be exfoliated. Thin layers, one direction. Make sure they're not too thick of layers. I'm just going over all my things. Clean, dry lips, exfoliation issues, and waterline issues. Just again, remember, everyone's skin is different. Everyone's gonna have a different experience. When I tried LipSense for the first time, I experienced a couple barriers. And I pushed through it because I really wanted it to work, and I was so in love with it, and I loved seeing what everyone else thought about it, and I was like, there must be some issues I just need to work through. I have tons of customers who don't experience any of these issues, but if you find yourself experiencing one or more of the things that I've talked about, either dryness, crumbling, it coming off, any tingling, your waterline, please go through this checklist that I just went through with you guys in this video. Make sure you're doing each one of those things. Always reach out to me. I don't want you guys to be afraid to reach out to me if you're like, this isn't meeting the standards that I thought, so that I can troubleshoot with you, because it will work if we can just talk through the issues. I have one of my cousins who really wanted LipSense to work because she loved it. She loved the whole premise around it. You know, just being able to apply your lip color once and it's staying all day. She was like, oh, I just want it to work for me, but it hasn't. And I've tried everything and it's never worked for me. And I was like, here, let's try this and let's try it for a little while. And when I say a little while, we tried it for like between 1 and 4 months. We really tried to get her lip health up to where it needed to be for LipSense to work properly. And once she got through that and broke through that barrier, she was able to wear LipSense without any issues. But she thought it was like, oh, this is just me and it's just not going to work for me. And I'm really sad because I really wanted it to work. And it's just case by case, person by person, it's going to be just a little bit different, whatever your experience is. So if I didn't touch on one of the issues that you're having, please let me know in the comment section, because if you're having an issue, somebody else might be having the exact same issue, and then I can just address it in the comment section and hopefully be able to help a lot more people with their issues. That is my troubleshooting for LipSense. And let's see, on my lips is Dawn Rising, but I think I already told you guys that. See you later. Bye.